service delivery. Thirdly, the revised plan project higher water demand than originally anticipated. As a result, Johannesburg Water will have to purchase more bulk water from rainwater, resulting in foregone savings of approximately 209 million That is not comfortable position for any municipality, Speaker. Another significant concern is that reducing of the project collection rates from 77.8% to 74.8%. Lower collection rates mean lower revenue, weaker cash flow, and greater financial pressure on Johannesburg Water.
35.
The reports openly acknowledge that the entity's financial sustainability. The reports openly acknowledge that the entity financial sustainability trajectory has to be delayed. Less revenue means fewer resources to repair infrastructure upgrades, maintenance program, and future expansion project. Yet, perhaps the most concerning issue before us today is that Council is being asked to approve this plan, while the reports indicate that the total implementation cost is still to be finalized. Speaker, how can
Ndoni buzauri nuko balelwa badi inwi.
Councillor Conny from EFF. Councillor Masuku, please switch off your mic. Danko.
Greetings, Madam Speaker, Deputy Executive Mayor, and all the councillors here. The economic freedom fighters support the report, but with serious concern about Johannesburg water crisis, because we are the vanguard of the people. The city has infrastructure asset worth of 127 billion, but faces 26.6 billion backlog, with 26% of asset having less than 10 years of useful life remaining, recurring of 31.8 billion over the next decade. Madam Speaker, the funding situation is worsened. The city reduced its medium-term investment from 8.5 billion to 6.5 billion, cutting the planned pipe replacement from 100 kilometers only to 72 kilometers. Non-revenue water remains above 44%, meaning nearly half of the water entering the system is a loss, stolen or unpaid. Collection of level have declined from 83% to 74%. Madam Speaker, the wastewater crisis is equally alarming, with declining treatment performance, increasing sewer overloads, and poor green drop results, creating a public health, environmental, and economic risk. On the ground, food manufacturing facility has lost 20 working shifts due to water shortage and relocated operations elsewhere. Restaurant, guest houses, small business, car washes, saloons, and informal traders are losing income, Madam Speaker. Ordinary families are forced to buy water while paying municipality bills. Schools, clinic, community facilities struggle to function. Poor communities queue for tankers while wealthier households buy private solutions. It's deepening the inequality, Madam Speaker. The EFF support the turnaround plan, but reject a slow response to fast-moving crises. The city must increase the infrastructure investment, accelerate the pipe replacement, reduce water losses, fix billing and collections, protect the wastewater treatment works, and act against illegal connection and vandalism. Johannesburg Water cannot call itself a world-class city while businesses close and communities go days without water. Madam Speaker, as EFF, we would like to remind this council that water is life, not a privilege, and water is a human right. It must be owned by the city to the people, for the people. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. ANC, Councillor Madiba. I've noted you. Councillor Madiba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. greetings to you, and let me say all protocol observed. As the African National Congress, we note the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Bidcow.
It works and it doesn't work. Okay. Madam Speaker, this report is being pushed through at one hell of a speed. It hasn't come to the Section 79, and this is so important and so detailed that it should be before the 79. We've got major issues here with Joburg water. It cannot just be pushed through because somebody feels it's got to be in now. You could get an extension from national government of another 90 days, and you could address this properly. But it's the same as our sound problems earlier on showed already how everybody is just in a hurry to push things through here today. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, under these circumstances, we cannot support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bidcow. MMC Masuku.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We request Council to approve this report. No, Madam Speaker, we will not be able to get an extension from National Treasury. The deadline for these reforms is the 30th of June. It's documented, communicated in black and white. Even when we attempted, we were told in no uncertain terms. So we ask Council to approve this report. It's not the end of the road. These are living documents, and I cannot overemphasize this point, and that these are important reforms to get the municipality moving. That's just what this is about, and I wish councillors understood what is the intention of National Treasury with these reforms. And it is irrespective of the government of the day. It's about the metros, metro trading reforms. So it applies to all municipalities, the metros that we have in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MMC. Colleagues, recommendations is on page 69.6 is the item agreed to. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you so much. STC. Councillor Christians.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in terms of Rule 84, please note our opposition, and we reserve our rights to take this further. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Item 70 is City Power Trading Reform Strategy for financial year 2026-27 Business Investment Plan.
Raadslid Boer.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. I just want to agree with Councillor Bidcow as well. I know the urgency on these reports. I hadn't had a time to go through those reports in detail. I was hoping that they were going to serve tomorrow, but in the light of the fact that I didn't serve on Section 79 and that I didn't have time to speak on them, I'm going to be withdrawing my speeches on items 70 and 72. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Harris. ACDP.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Greetings once again. I rise to speak to item 70. Madam Speaker, in Florida, on Lake Road, City Power has a massive training center that looks like a barn there. Nobody goes in. You don't see any movement around there. But in this report, they very tragically and sadly say that they are spending 164 million rand on consultants because they have only one qualified electrical engineer. Now that is a mortal sin, I believe, in light of the high unemployment rates, the graduates that are sitting on the streets, and we are paying consultants who are not emotionally attached and invested in the city to do the work that people that we should be employing should be doing. So I note this report, and I'm just trusting that the powers that be at City Power will not take the easy way out and do things that are really contrary to their mandate, but they will get serious about fixing the issues within the city of Johannesburg. And I trust that we as well, particularly the Budget Steering Committee and the people that are looking at equitable share particularly, will think about the infrastructure backlogs that the City Power is experiencing, and that they will do something concrete, because our people, the residents, the people that are paying for services are being shortchanged. They're not getting value for money. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Councillor Maduka Nene from Action SA.
Greetings, Madam Speaker. I will speak on behalf of Councillor Maduka Nene. Is it okay?
You can carry on, Councillor.
Okay. Madam Speaker, I rise to speak on item 70. On behalf of Action SA, we would like to remind all the young people in South Africa to go out and register so that we can vote for Action SA on the 4th. Madam Speaker, Action SA is the only party that will continue to put South African first. Unlike Patriotic Alliance, who have turned against South Africans. We told them, South Africans, that don't be scammed by Patriotic Alliance. Those are the scammers. They scam South Africans to say that now they've turned against them.
Councillor, can you move the mic from your mouth?
Okay.
From your mouth. Put it a nice distance.
Oh, like this?
No. Councillor, just do the right thing.
Okay. Madam Speaker, I was saying that Action SA is the only party that will continue to put South African first. Unlike PA, who have turned against South African, just because of the ministerial position of sport. Now you have turned South African. Thank you for giving us vote. But Action SA, Madam Speaker, will continue to put South African first. Young people, let us vote for Action SA. This is the only party that will service you. As I conclude, Madam Speaker, I would like also to wish Bafana, as they will be playing tonight. We say Bafana, please. Oh, in the morning. Okay, Bafana, please represent us South African. Action SA is behind you. As Action SA, we note the report. Thank you.
Councillor N. Kobe from EFF.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The EFF support this report, but not as an endorsement of current affairs, Madam Speaker. Remember, I will always remind this council that we are the vanguard of the people, and we are guided by the 7 non-cardinal pillars. That is why we support this report. City Power faces 44 billion infrastructure backlog, 3.1 billion operating defects and losses approximately of 5.7 billion annually through electricity losses. These are symptoms of utility allowed to drift into crisis. Plant maintenance constitute only 30% of activities. City Power respond to failures into preventing them. Madam Speaker, residents are experiencing outrage, damaged infrastructure, exploding mini substations, cable theft, and unreliable supply. Madam Speaker, the electricity is essential for economic activity and public services. Frequent power outrage negativity affects the business. It also affects the education, healthcare, and community safety. City Power loses about 30% of its electricity worth 5.7 billion annually through technical losses, illegal connections, and theft. Recovering these losses could help fund infrastructure upgrade, improve the substations, expand electrification, and reduce outrage. Madam Speaker, there is only one professionally registered engineer despite of 168 eligible employees, yet the entity spent 164 million annually on consultant. Why not outsource, Madam Speaker, expertise when we should build internal state capacity? The electricity market is changing. Large customers are exploring alternative energy. If City Power fails to modernize and rebuild the confidence, it risks of losing major customers, further weakening the finances. As the EFF, we support the investment in smart metering infrastructure, renewal, grant and modernization, and the revenue protection. But technology alone won't solve this crisis. Discipline implementation, consequences management, technical capacity, and sustained investment are required. Madam Speaker, most importantly, Madam Speaker, most important sentence in this report is the City Power-owned admission. The current situation is unsustainable. We call for the accelerated infrastructure renewal, stronger action against theft, reduce consultation dependence, improve maintenance, and building internal technical expertise. The people of Johannesburg deserve a reliable electricity that supports economic growth. Madam Speaker, let us remind this council again, electricity is a basic need, it's not a luxury. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor. Councillor Zondo, ANC.
Greetings, Speaker. It's not Councillor Zondo, it's Councillor Nchabeni Mutabatsindi. Greeting to everybody, the councillors, the community in the gallery. You are all greeted. As the ANC, we are here then to note the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. We have a Councillor Steenkamp from the DA.
Yeah. Speaker, let me begin by acknowledging that CEREPA has finally done something that previous reports often failed to do. It has been honest about the scale of the challenge. The report acknowledges a 44 billion infrastructure backlog. It acknowledges electricity losses of approximately 30%. It acknowledges annual revenue leakage of approximately 5.7 billion. These figures confirm what residents have been experiencing for years, an electricity network under immense pressure. The DA supports the objectives of reducing losses, improving governance, modernizing infrastructure, and restoring financial sustainability. However, supporting those objectives is not the same as supporting this plan. Our concern is that the business and investment plan asks Council to place its faith in ambitious targets without providing sufficient confidence that they can actually be achieved. The plan assumes significant reduction in losses, substantial revenue growth, and a dramatic improvement in City Power's financial position over the coming years. The question is not whether these targets are desirable. The question is whether City Power has demonstrated the capacity to achieve them. Based on the entity's recent performance, the DA remains unconvinced. Council is being asked to accept these assumptions without having had the opportunity to properly test them through the oversight process. The second concern is Eskom. Speaker, one cannot discuss the financial sustainability of City Power without discussing Eskom. Eskom remains one of the biggest financial and operational risks facing the entity. Residents have witnessed firsthand the consequences of disputes involving Eskom. Yet the document provides very little detail on how Eskom-related risks, debt exposure, bulk electricity costs, and future supply risk will be managed. That is a significant omission. Any long-term recovery plan should clearly explain how one of the entity's largest risks will be addressed. The third concern is implementation. Johannesburg does not suffer from a shortage of plans. It suffers from a shortage of implementation. Residents do not judge City Power by the quality of its presentations. They judge it by whether the lights stay on, they judge by whether outages are resolved quickly, and they judge it by whether infrastructure is being maintained. The reality is that City Power performance remains under severe pressure, and the DA is not convinced that this document provides sufficient confidence in implementation will match the promises being made. Finally, Speaker, this matter should have been subjected to proper scrutiny through the relevant Section 79 oversight process before arriving in Council. A plan of this magnitude deserved detailed interrogation before councillors were asked to approve it. For all these reasons, while acknowledging that the document may satisfy the minimum requirements of the National Treasury Reform Framework, the DA cannot support item 70. This council is being asked to approve a long-term recovery plan without having had the benefit of a proper Section 79 scrutiny, without adequate detail of ESCOM-related risks, and without sufficient confidence that these targets can be realistically be achieved. Johannesburg deserves more than minimum compliance. It deserves proper oversight, realistic planning, and credible implementation. The DA will therefore vote against this item. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Deputy Executive Mayor, MMC Finance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This report actually builds on the previously approved City Power turnaround strategy and performance improvement action plan that was brought to Council. This provides an update on implementation, progress, and seeks approval of the business and investment plan and associated financial model in line with the National Treasury Guidance Note number 5 of the requirements. The strategy supports the city's objective of establishing financially sustainable performance. So that is where you are correct, Councillor Harris and Councillor Konkobe, yes. That indeed the approved business and investment plan will be integrated into the city's budgeting as well as the processes that will serve as the framework for monitoring. And Councillor Nchaveni, thank you so much for your comments. And indeed, our interest is to ensure continued integration between utility planning and the MTRF processes and accelerate the utility reform initiatives aligned to National Treasury requirements. Our intention is to align and be fully compliant, as well as improve financial modeling and investment planning capacity. And this, Madam Speaker, Council approval will enable continued engagement with National Treasury and support implementation of the city's broader utility transformation agenda. Because if we work together with National Treasury, we will then be able to assist and work together to ensure that City Power as a business survives and provides a reliable energy supply to our residents. We ask Council to approve the report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Executive Mayor. Colleagues, the recommendations is on page 70.3. Is the item agreed to? Can I hear that again? Is it agreed to? I can see your hand, but the yeses have it. Hypo, no.
Thank you, Speaker.
Yes, you can go.
Speaker, in terms of Rule 84, please note the opposition of the DA to this item. Thank you.
Thank you. To those people up there in the gallery, there is a Mojalefa Peter Botlokwane that has lost his ID together with his wallet. If he can identify himself, we will take it. We'll give it to you. Thank you. It's not.
We are now on item 71, and that is Metro Trading Services Reforms Program, strategic response to minimum access indicator M6 budget support.
ACDP, Councillor Nkonza.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Greetings once again, as I acknowledge our Almighty God, eternally existent in three persons, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. I greet you all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Madam Speaker, allow me to quote from my guiding manual, the Bible, from Proverbs 28, verse 13, in the Passion Translation. It reads as follows: if you cover your sin, you'll never do well. But if you confess your sins and forsake them, you will be kissed by mercy. Madam Speaker, the ACDP appreciates the transparency of this report. Hence, we have quoted that scripture as a principle to say that if you lay bare your mistakes and transgression, and then mercy will kiss you. The ACDP welcomes the Metro Trading Service Reforms Program and recognizes it as an important intervention aimed at restoring the financial sustainability, operational efficiency, and long-term viability of the City of Johannesburg's trading services. We further appreciate the transparent manner in which the city has presented the key benchmarks from the financial model, as this provides a realistic assessment of where Johannesburg currently stands and the magnitude of the reforms required. The benchmarking exercise clearly illustrates the scale of the turnaround that is needed. Under the cash coverage ratio, the city is currently reflects a cash coverage ratio of 0 months compared to the National Treasury's benchmark of 1 to 3 months. By comparison, the City of Cape Town stands at approximately 2.5 months, while eThekwini is at 1.5 months. This demonstrates the urgent need to strengthen liquidity and improve cash management practices. Under revenue collection, the city's collection rate is at 87.7, which remains below the National Treasury's benchmarks of above 90%. Cape Town and eThekwini continues to achieve collection levels of approximately 97%.
50 seconds left.
And 92% respectively, demonstrating that higher collection rates are achievable through effective revenue management, credit control, and measures. And then under non-revenue water, Joburg's non-revenue water losses remain alarmingly high at 32%. Under electricity losses are approximately 30%, which significantly exceed the National Treasury's norm at 15%. Under the national reform compliance, we are not complying as a city. Madam Speaker, these benchmarks should not merely be viewed as statistics. They are indicators of the city's ability to deliver reliable services, maintain infrastructure, attract investment, and fulfill its obligation to residents. The comparison with other metropolitan municipalities demonstrate that.
Councillor Conny from Action SA.
Ngibonge, Speaker. Greetings, fellow councillors, all protocol observed. Madam Speaker, today Council is being asked to consider one of the most consequential reforms facing the City of Johannesburg, the Metro Trading Services Reform Program. For many years, residents have experienced the consequences of a model that is no longer sustainable. We have seen recurring water outages, aging infrastructure, electricity losses, increasing maintenance backlogs, financial pressures within our municipal entities, and declining public confidence in the city's ability to deliver basic services. The reality is that Johannesburg Water and City Power are responsible for delivering some of the most essential services to our residents, yet both entities face significant infrastructure and funding challenges that cannot be ignored. The report before us acknowledges what may have been what we have been saying for years, that there is a substantial infrastructure funding gap, and that without reform, the city will struggle to meet the future service delivery demands. Action SA supports reforms that strengthen service delivery, improve accountability, and ensure the long-term sustainability of municipal services. We therefore welcome the intention behind this program and the recognition that maintaining the status quo is not an option. However, approval of a reform program is only the first step. The success of these reforms will not be measured by presentations, strategies, or reports. It will be measured by whether residents experience fewer outages, faster response times, improved infrastructure reliability, and better value for money. We must ensure that these reforms do not become another exercise in restructuring without results. Firstly, there must be clear accountability. Council must receive regular progress reports detailing implementation milestones, financial performance, operational improvements, and measurable service delivery outcomes. Secondly, the city must ensure that the reforms protect the financial sustainability of Johannesburg water and city power. For far too long, concerns have been raised about the impact of the city's cash management practice on municipal entities. Trading reforms must create stronger financial discipline and ensure that revenue generated for service delivery is utilized for its intended purpose. Thirdly, infrastructure investment must remain at the center of these reforms. Residents do not care about organizational charts, they care about functioning water systems, reliable electricity supply, and responsive service delivery. Every reform initiative must ultimately translate into better infrastructure and improve service delivery on the ground. Fourthly, labor stability and stakeholder engagement will be critical. Employees, communities, businesses, and organized labor must be engaged throughout this process to ensure that the reforms are implemented smoothly and sustainably. Speaker, the city of Johannesburg is the economic engine of South Africa and the biggest economic hub in Africa. We cannot continue to allow infrastructure decline to undermine economic growth, investment, and job creation. Modernizing and strengthening our service delivery institutions is essential if we are serious about building a city that works. Action SA therefore supports the objectives of this program, while emphasizing that Council must exercise rigorous oversight over implementation. We will support reforms that improve governance, strengthen accountability, and deliver better services to residents. But we will also hold the administration accountable for delivering tangible results. The residents of Johannesburg deserve more than plans. They deserve outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councillor S. Zita.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Greetings again to you, EFF leadership, and EFF councillors. Speaker, the EFF notes this report and welcomes the effort to improve the financial position of the City Power, Johannesburg Water, and pick it up. However, we must be honest with ourselves. The report confirmed that the city is facing serious challenges. Residents continue to experience water shortages, power outages, sewer spillage, and poor service delivery. Those are daily realities for our communities. The report further tells us that the city power loses billions of rand through electricity losses and illegal connections, while Johannesburg Water continues to lose a significant amount of water through leaks and other losses. This means that while residents are paying for services, the city is losing money that could have been used to improve infrastructure and service delivery. The EFF support investment in infrastructure because our people deserve reliable electricity, clean water, and functioning waste management system. We welcome the increased budget allocation to City Power, Johannesburg Water, and pick it up. However, allocating money is not enough. We need the result. The people of Johannesburg are tired of hearing about plans, strategies, and frameworks while their taps remain dry and their streets remain flooded with sewage. What residents want, Speaker, is implementation. The report itself acknowledges that there's a major funding gap and that infrastructure backlogs continue to grow. This means that the city must spend every cent wisely and ensure that the corruption, wasteful expenditure, and poor planning are eliminated. Speaker, the EFF believe that the accountability must go hand in hand with funding. Executive and senior managers in those entities must be held responsible for achieving the target they set for themselves. Where there's failure, there must be consequences. Where there's success, communities must see the benefit through improved service delivery. We also believe that additional revenue recovered through improved collections, smart metering, and loss reduction programs must be directed toward repairing and maintaining infrastructure. The EFF support efforts to reduce electricity losses and non-revenue water, but those efforts must not unfairly target poor communities, while larger businesses, developers, and organized syndicates continue to benefit from illegal activities. Speaker, the success of those reforms will not be measured by reports or presentations. It will be measured by whether residents have water in their homes, electricity in their communities, and cleaner neighborhoods. The EFF will therefore support this item because investment in infrastructure is necessary. However, we call for a stronger oversight, regular reporting to council, and a strict accountability for those entrusted with managing public resources. The people of City of Johannesburg deserve efficient services, accountable leadership, and a city that works for all of its residents. I thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you so much. The next speaker is the ANC, Councillor Nofomela.
Madam Speaker.
I've got you, don't worry.
Thank you, just checking.
You'll be last, you came late. Councillor Nofomela? Is Councillor Nofomela here? Is there anyone? Oh.
No, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. As the African National Congress, we note the report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councillor Santana.
Thank you, Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Democratic Alliance supports the principle of financial sustainability or sustainable municipal entities. We support infrastructure investment. We support reducing electricity losses, reducing non-revenue water, improving revenue collection, strengthening maintenance programs, and restoring confidence in the city power, Joburg Water, and Pick It Up. However, support for the objective cannot be confused with support for this report. Our opposition is not because reform is unnecessary, quite the opposite. The item asks Council to approve a substantial reform program without the necessary governance processes being completed and without adequate oversight scrutiny by the relevant Council structures. This report before us, in many respects, an administration, this report before us is, in many respects, an admission of failure. It acknowledges the city faces a severe financial crisis. It acknowledges electricity losses of approximately 30%. It acknowledges non-revenue water levels approaching 45%. It acknowledges declining collection rate. It acknowledges a structural funding gap running into hundreds, or in this case, billions of rands annually. It acknowledges that city power remains financially distressed and dependent on an undocumented sweeping arrangement. These are not circumstances that emerged overnight. They are the cumulative consequences of years of governance failures. Poor financial management, weak oversight, inadequate maintenance, and delayed decision-making. The report repeatedly references accountability, transparency, governance, reform, and improved oversight. Yet the process followed in bringing the item to Council contradicts those very principles. A program of this magnitude should have been subjected to a robust scrutiny by the relevant Section 79 oversight committees. It should have been presented to the oversight committees responsible for finance, environmental and infrastructure services, and group governance. It should have been deliberated through the relevant joint committees, given the extensive implication for governance, treasury management, infrastructure investment, municipal entities, borrowing, asset management, and future budget requirements. Instead, Council is being asked to approve broad principles and mandates before the necessary oversight processes have taken place. That is not good governance. Oversight is not a box-ticking exercise. Oversight exists to test assumptions, interrogate risks, examine affordabilities, challenge implementation plans, and ensure accountability before decisions are adopted. This new report itself confirms that critical governance prerequisites remain outstanding. The delegation of the authority matrix is not yet approved, and yet you're asking us to approve this item before all of those items. The revenue sharing agreements are not yet in place. The ring-fence banking arrangements are not operational. Key appointments remain outstanding. The city power sweeping balance remains unresolved. Yet council is being asked to endorse a reform program whose success depends on precisely these governance mechanisms being implemented. That is putting the cart before the horse. Madam Speaker, the report also relies heavily on future projections, anticipated efficiencies, projected revenue improvements, and planned reforms. What is noticeably absent is sufficient evidence that the current administration has the implementation capacity to deliver on these ambitions. Residents do not experience service delivery through strategy documents. Residents experience service delivery through functioning substations, reliable electricity supply, repaired water leaks, working wastewater infrastructure, cleaner streets, and responsive municipal services. The city has adopted many plans over the years. The challenge has never been planning, the challenge has been execution. The DA believes that the reforms of this nature require credibility, transparency, and accountability. They require proper committee scrutiny. They require formal oversight consideration. They require measurable reporting frameworks that are debated and tested before approval. Most importantly, they require an administration that reports consistently and comprehensively to council oversight structures. Unfortunately, this report arrives before those governance requirements have been satisfied. For that reason, while we support the goal of achieving a financially sustainable trading services, we cannot support the process that has been followed. The Democratic Alliance therefore rejects item 71 and calls for the matter to be referred back to the proper consideration by the relevant oversight and joint committee structures before any final council approval is contemplated. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Santana. MMC Masuku.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, to all the councillors who have supported this important report in order for us to be able to deal with Johannesburg Water's performance and the improvement and ensure we have reliable and sustainable water, and for our infrastructure development. We ask Council to approve the report. Thank you.
Thank you, MMC. The recommendations are on pages 71.30. Is the item agreed to? Can I have that repeated? I see your hand, Councillor Christians. I see your hand. I see your hand. And Councillor Nimant is actually saying to you, lift it, lift it. The yeses have it. Councillor Christians.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I don't believe that is the correct call. So in terms of Rule 86.1, I hereby demand for a roll call.
Can we ring the bell? No, you asked for a division of the House. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can we stop the drums? Can we be seated? Can we see those who abstain? Councillor Conny, can you take your seat? Your seat. Your seat. Those who abstain, your hands can go down. Thank you. Can I see the nose? Thank you. Can that hand go down? Thank you. Or those who say yes? Aye. Yo. You may lower your hands. Thank you, colleagues. The results are in. Those who abstained are 3. Those who said no are 53. And those who voted for is 100. So the item is carried. Thank you. Councillor Christians, you... No, it's fine.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise in terms of Rule 84 now to record our opposition to this item, and we believe that this item was premature. Other items should have come before it. Thank you.
But you have abstained. Okay. Thank you.
We move to item 72, and that is Johannesburg Waters A3 Performance Improvement Action Plan, version 2.
Councillor R. Harris.
Thank you once again, Madam Speaker. I rise to speak to item 72, Johannesburg Waters Performance Improvement Action Plan. The ACDP notes and accepts this plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Raadslid Boer. Het jy withdraw?
Ja, ek het onttrek, mevrou Speaker. Ek is moeg op huis toe gaan.
Okay. Thank you. Who is speaking in the place of Councillor Matukonene from Action SA? No one. Okay, let's go. Councillor Konkobe from the Economic Freedom Fighters.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The EFF, it stands in this one. It's planned, if plans alone could fix Johannesburg water challenges, residents will already receive a world-class service. The city has produced strategies, turnaround plans, financial models, and reform frameworks. Yet residents continue experiencing water outreach, sewer spillages, delayed repairs, and growing frustrations. The EFF approached this report with a cautious support. We recognize the performance improvement action plan important, but consciously that communities judge government by service quality, not plan quality. The significance of this report lies in Johannesburg, water finally linking operational performance to financial sustainability. The action plan is now connected to all the utility financial model, investment plan, and broader reform programs. Madam Speaker, this acknowledges that challenges are no longer isolated operational problems. They are systemic challenges requiring system solutions. Madam Speaker, years of underinvestment, under-aging infrastructure, maintaining backlogs, and financial pressure have created increasingly common service delivery failures. Communities experience this daily thought, burst pipes, sewer spillage, inconsistent supply, and lengthy response times. Madam Speaker, the EFF maintains that access to water is not simply a municipality function. It is a constitutional obligation and matter of human dignity. When communities spend days without water, when sewer flows into the street and rivers, when residents rely on water tankers, the issue becomes social justice, not administrating. Madam Speaker, government is often become trapped into the cycle of producing new plans of old problems. Compliance become the objectives instead of service delivery. We caution against measuring access by document approval or national treasury requirement. Madam Speaker, success must be measured by outcomes. There are water outage decreasing. There are sewer spillages being reduced. There are repairs happening faster. Is infrastructure being maintained before it fails? Are communities receiving reliable services? These are the questions that matter to residents. Madam Speaker, Johannesburg economy depend on functioning of water system. Business requires centrality, schools require water, clinic require water, communities requires water. Every infrastructure failure affect the public health, economic activity, and public confidence in the government. The EFF support this report because reform is necessary, but Johannesburg Water is an administrating, must ensure this plan translates into visible improvement. In all communities, residents do not need another document. They need water utility that works. People of Makandakande in Ward 25, they really need water. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much, Councillor. Councillor Butkau. Councillor Zita.
Madam Speaker, although the proposed framework for the recovery of Joburg water is laudable in the broader sense, as it's at least an attempt to rectify the mismanagement and financial woes, at a glance it looks very nice and oh so positive. However, when one digs deeper and studies these items more closely, the flaws become very obvious. My fellow councillor Chris Santana in the previous item actually alluded to a lot of them. However, even though this proposal is based on loading a huge portion on the residents, including the current increases of 12.5% in tariffs, and not to mention the demand side increase of 62%. Even though mention is made of reducing the loss of water, it is glazed over and lacking the applicable attention. Furthermore, the reduction of commercial customers, as emphasized by the amount of empty factories around Joburg, has not been taken into account. Anybody who has run a business knows that trimming off the fat is one of the first issues to look at. Let us look at just the 8 senior managers which cost 13.5 million per annum. Another aspect is providing a motivated workforce, and that is definitely not possible when you have an entire depot moved into a new premises and 18 months later they are still working in containers like a temporary site establishment. Although the targets set for reduction of technical losses are way above the acceptable maximum according to also, the targets set for reduction of technical losses are way above the acceptable maximum according to world standards. With other words, Joburg Water is placing the load squarely on the residents without applying the same and bigger pressure to themselves. Furthermore, this item has not served before the Section 79, where the necessary discussions could have been held in order to amend this proposal. But yet again, it shows how the urgency to push this through in a hurry has made this into an item which is not thought through properly, has not followed the proper ways, and therefore, unfortunately, we cannot support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Butkau. Deputy Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much to all the councillors for the comments. We ask Council to approve the report.
Thank you, Deputy Executive Mayor. The recommendation is on page 72.3. Is the item agreed to? Yeah, the yeses have it. Councillor Christians.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in terms of Rule 84, please record the opposition of the Democratic Alliance, and just Councillor Masuku is the only one saying yes. Thank you.
Right, thank you, STC. Next item.
Item 73 is City Power's trading reform strategy for financial year 2026-27, PIAP V2.
Thank you so much, Councillor Harris. You should just sit there.
Madam Speaker, good afternoon once again. I rise to speak to item 73, the City Power Trading Reform Strategy. The ACDP notes and accepts this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Who's standing in for Councillor Maduka Nene? No one? Oh, Councillor.
Okay, thanks, Madam
Don't hit
Speaker.
the mic.
Eh?
Don't hit the mic.
Okay, I just want to remind the EFF that Mhlaka 30, their friends are going. As Action SA, we note the report.
Thank you, Councillor. Yo. Councillor Mkasi, EFF.
Thank you very much, Speaker. All protocols observed. The EFF rise in support of this item, but we do so with the interest of the working class and the poor firmly in our minds. Before we speak about financial model business plans, investment frameworks, and performance improvement action plans, let us speak about people of Johannesburg. Let us speak about the people of Zanzibar. Every day, thousands of residents in Zanzibar wake up in informal settlement where access to basic service remains inadequate. They wake up to overflowing sanitation facilities, unreliable electricity supply, poor road infrastructure, and difficult living conditions. Many families continue to live in overcrowded shacks, vulnerable to fires, floods, and disease. Many young people walk the street searching for employment opportunities that remain out of reach. The painful reality is that while Johannesburg is regarded as the economic capital of South Africa, many of its people continue to live in conditions that resemble poverty imposed by colonialism and apartheid. The people of Zanzibar do not experience the economy through statistics. They experience it through darkness when electricity is unavailable. They express it through food that spoils because there is no reliable power supply. They express it through children who cannot study at night. They express it through small businesses that cannot operate because electricity interruptions. They express it through dangerous illegal connections that have become a consequence of decades of exclusion and underdevelopment. Speaker, the fundamental question before us is whether City Power can become a stronger institution capable of saving the people of Johannesburg. The report before Council speaks about building a financial sustainability, accountable and performance-driven utility. Those objectives are important because a collapse in utility cannot serve the people. The EFF have always maintained that electricity is not luxury. Electricity is a basic necessity. Electricity is a tool for economic liberation. Electricity is a tool for industrialization. Electricity is a tool for education. Electricity is a tool for safety and human dignity. A child in Zanzibar deserves the same access to electricity as a child in Sandton. A small business in Diepsloot deserves the same reliable supply of electricity as a business in Rosebank. A worker in Alexandra deserves the same quality of municipal services as those that are enjoyed in wealthy suburbs. This is why the struggle for electricity is not merely a technical matter, but it is a political matter. It is a class matter. It is a matter of social justice. The EFF rejects an approach that treats City Power as nothing more than a balance sheet. City Power exists to serve the people. Its success cannot be measured only by financial performance. Its success must be measured by whether the lives of ordinary residents improve. Can City Power reduce outages? Can City Power replace aging infrastructure?
50 seconds.
Can City Power strengthen substations? Those are the questions that matters to our people. Speaker, the left has always understood that capable development state is necessary to defeat poverty. Inequality and underdevelopment cannot build prosperous community, collapsing public institution. However, we place on record that implementation of those reforms must be prioritized working class communities, informal settlement, township economy, and the people in the center. Speaker, as the EFF, We support the recommendation before Council and approve the City Power Trading Reform Strategy for financial year 2026 to 2027, together with the Financial Model, Business Investment Plan, and the Performance Improvement Action Plan version.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Steenkamp from the DA.
Speaker, this item is the Performance Improvement Action Plan. At its core, it's an accountability framework that is intended to measure the performance, track implementation, and hold City Power accountable for delivering its turnaround strategy. In principle, the DA supports that objective. We support accountability, we support performance management, and we support proper governance. But accountability begins with process, and that is where this item falls short. The fundamental problem with item 73 is that it did not come before the relevant Section 79 committee for proper oversight and deliberation before being brought to council. The matter is because this document is supposed to be the mechanism through which performance is measured and accountability is enforced. Council should have the opportunity to interrogate the indicators. Council
Just hold on for me, Councillor. Councillor Mokwena of the EFF. Thereby, Councillor Makase, switch off your mic, please. Thank you. You can continue, Councillor.
Councillors should have the opportunity to test the assumptions. Councillors should have the opportunity to debate whether the targets are realistic and whether they will actually improve service delivery. This is particularly important because the Performance Improvement Action Plan is intended to measure whether City Power succeeds or fails in reducing losses, improving governance, strengthening revenue collection, and improving operational performance. These are not minor administrative matters. They are the very metrics by which Council will assess whether residents are receiving a better service. Instead, Council is effectively being asked to rubber stamp a framework that has not undergone a level of scrutiny that good governance requires. Speaker, there is an irony here. A document about accountability has bypassed one of Council's primary accountability mechanisms. A document about governance has not been subjected to proper governance processes. A document about oversight has not benefited from the adequate oversight that should concern every councillor in this chamber. The DA acknowledges that the document appears to satisfy the minimum technical requirements of the National Treasury Reform Program, but minimum compliance is not the same as meaningful oversight. Ticking a box is not the same as convincing council. Meeting a deadline is not the same as ensuring accountability. Good governance requires more than compliance. It requires scrutiny, it requires transparency, and it requires proper deliberation. The DA is also concerned about much of the success of this framework. Ultimately depends on implementation by the same structures that have struggled to deliver consistent improvements in the past. That makes proper oversight even more important. Unfortunately, the opportunity for the oversight has been denied. Speaker, the DA is not rejecting this item because we oppose accountability. We are not rejecting this item because we oppose performance management. We are rejecting it because accountability begins with process. We are rejecting it because the Section 79 oversight process was bypassed. And we are rejecting it because Council should not be asked to approve performance frameworks that have not been properly scrutinized. For those reasons, while acknowledging that the document may satisfy the minimum requirements of National Treasury Reform Framework, the DA cannot support item 73. Accountability begins with scrutiny, and scrutiny begins with proper oversight. Because that process was bypassed, the DA will vote against this item. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. MMC Masuku.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and to the fellow councillors who are supporting this report. We ask Council to approve the report that is indeed about accountability, transparency, and ensuring that we have reform strategy in order for us to move our entity forward. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor. The recommendation is on page 73.3. Is the item agreed to? Can I have that again? Colleagues, the yeses have it. Who's at the back? So you removed yourself, Alex. Councillor Christians? The mics at the back are not working, so I'm not sure why you went to the back. Who's the intruders? Where?
Thank you, Madam
That's
Speaker. Madam
IT.
Speaker, I was stretching there, and I know you don't want me to stretch in the front. Madam Speaker, in terms of Rule 84, please record the opposition of the Democratic Alliance.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. STC, can we move to the next item?
We are now on item 74, and that is Pick It Up Performance Improvement Action Plan.
Councillor Harris, I told you, stay there. Stay when you are, come when I call you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Councillor Benjamin said I mustn't sit next to her. Madam Speaker, I rise to speak to item 74, the Pick It Up Performance Improvement Action Plan. Any plan must have some element of creativity and developmentalism in it. But I'm afraid this report seems to just go about ticking the normal boxes. So we will support it, but we must place on record, Madam Speaker, that the city is running short of landfill space. But this report only talks about monitoring the air above existing landfill spaces. It doesn't talk about looking for additional landfill space. It doesn't refer to the biogas project that is coming on later on. The waste to energy, those millions of tons of waste that the city is collecting is just piling up all over the show, and it's spilling over into the streets and so forth. So while we note and approve this report, Madam Speaker, we are asking Pick It Up and the authorities, the managers, the political office bearers, please look into this department, because they are just going about the normal things as like they're in a coma. We need to do something to rescue the city from the filth and the mess that it is in. So the ACDP notes and accepts this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Anyone that is replacing Councillor Matukunene? No one. Councillor Munyai?
Yes. Greetings to you, Madam Speaker, and also greetings to the resident of the city of Johannesburg. As Section SA, Madam Speaker, we don't have a problem with this document, but we have a problem with the implementation part of this item. For example, as we speak, in playoff, there are residents that as we speak, there is no refusal collection as we speak now. So it's almost 2 weeks now as we speak, Madam Speaker. This is the big problem. There is a problem of illegal dumping that keep on piling across the city of Johannesburg. And we're also appealing to pick it up together with the public safety, because we have a bylaw in the city of Johannesburg, the waste management bylaw, that is specific about the implementation and the enforcements about the individuals that are being found in dumping across the city of Johannesburg. But ever since this bylaw, Madam Speaker, has been passed in council, but I haven't seen the implementation part of this bylaw. We are just appealing to the officials who are responsible in terms of the implementation of those bylaws. Please, guys, let us put our city clean. And again, Madam Speaker, in the same bylaw, it says that we must also provide waste pickers across the city of Johannesburg in terms of the spaces where they can operate. Even today, that bylaw is passed in council. There is not even any land that is being allocated to the waste pickers. We're just appealing to the officials, Deputy Mayor, please speak with your officials that yes, Action SA, we support this item, but please, in the implementation part of it is a big problem. Because now our landfill site, as the colleagues have spoken, that as we speak now, in the other area, we don't even have a landfill site. We have illegal dumping across the city of Johannesburg. But we have GMPD officials. What is it that they're currently doing here? We have the bylaw that they're supposed to implement across the the city of Johannesburg. If I can ask, ever since that bylaw is being implemented, how many cars that they've impounded? Because that bylaw is that if you find individual dumping, you must impound that car. How many cars have they been impounded? But these officials are being paid every month from the city of Johannesburg. I thank you, Madam Speaker. Action SA, love you. Thank you.
Councillor Manyai, thank you so much. Councillor Mkasi from the EFF.
Thank you very much, Speaker. All protocols observed. The question before us today is not simply whether we approve the performance improvement action plan. The real question is, how did we arrive at a situation where the city of Johannesburg must develop a turnaround strategy for something as basic as collecting rubbish from our communities? Because behind every uncollected refuse bag lies a political failure. Behind every illegal dumping site lies a failed developmental state. Behind every landfill reaching crises points lies years of neglect, underinvestment, and poor planning. This report itself admitted that Pick It Up suffer from inadequate capacity, insufficient investment, weak system, critical vacancies, and governance challenges. It admitted that customer satisfaction sits at only 61%. It admitted that there has been historical underinvestment in solid waste management. It admitted that there are serious weaknesses in procurement system and operational capacity. Those are not EFF findings. Those are the admission contained in this report before us. Speaker, when the people of Zanzibar wake up to mountains of waste next to their homes, they do not care about PowerPoint presentations. When the people of Deep Sloot walk and pass illegal dumping sites every day, they do not care about fancy strategic frameworks. When children in informal settlement play next to rotting waste, breeding rats, flies, and disease, they are not asking for another consultant report. They are demanding dignity, they are demanding service delivery, they are demanding a municipality that works. The EFF have always maintained that municipality collapse when they surrender their responsibilities to tenderpreneurs. Our 2021 local government election manifesto correctly identify the over-reliance on outsourcing and tenders as one of the major causes of municipal collapse. The EFF has consistently advocated for building state capacity, ending the dependence on private contractors for core municipality functions. That is why we welcome aspects of this plan that seeks to strengthen internal capacity, professionalize project management, improve accountability, fill critical vacancies, and invest in infrastructure. They are principles that align with EFF's vision of capable developmental municipality. However, we must warn this administration, a turnaround plan without implementation is just another document gathering dust on the municipal shelves. A turnaround plan without insourcing is meaningless. A turnaround plan without workers is meaningless. A turnaround plan without investment in township and informal settlement, it is meaningless. A turnaround plan without consequences for corruption is meaningless. The EFF therefore support this item not because we are satisfied with the state of Pick It Up, but because our people cannot wait any longer for action. We support it because the report contains commitment to increase infrastructure investment, expand waste management facility, improve landfill compliance, strengthen service coverage, and build operational capacity. But our support comes with a revolutionary warning. We will not allow this plan to become another official exercise while our people continue living among
50 seconds.
We will demand quarterly accountability. We will demand the filling of critical vacancies. We will demand the insourcing of strategic functions. We will demand investment in informal settlement and historical neglected communities. We will demand that every cent allocated to waste management reaches the ground and benefit our people. For those reasons, while exposing the failures that made this turnaround necessary, the EFF support the approval of this item and commit ourselves to militant oversight to ensure that it serves the people and not consulted or tenderpreneurs and officials. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. DA Councillor Seku. Before Councillor Title, are you speaking? Okay. Councillor Mposula.
Thank you so much, Speaker. Speaker, I'm worried. I just roughly did a head count. So can we check if we are still correcting? Because we are going to approve reports when we are not correcting. If legal can check that, I'll appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, can we finish the item? Councillor Title.
Thank you again, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, distinguished members of the House. While we welcome the Metro Trading reform and it's a step in the right direction, it's a concern that the item doesn't serve before Section 79, as with all the other items. That is a huge concern for us because what is the point of oversight and scrutiny if we don't get the opportunity to do it? That is part of the work and the role of the legislature. And so that is one of our key concerns on why we are going to not support this particular item. But also just to also say that, when we do go through the item, there are questions here that we need to ask the relevant officials, which we haven't had the opportunity. And it talks also about things around the large capital peaks and unclear on funding sources, for example, because it's very capital reliant. Heavy reliance on private-public partnerships from waste energy and incinerators, the cash flow shortfalls and delivery bottlenecks that could occur as well on the projects, incinerator landfill cells vulnerable to cost overruns as well, large procurement, especially multiple private partner partnerships, large fleet and construction works may exceed internal procurement as well, which is a big concern, waste energy and...
Councillor Title, just hold on. Councillor Peterson. Can you please come to your seat? We can hear your whole conversation there. Councillor Title.
Thank you. As well as the requirements of the environmental impact assessment, these are questions that we need officials to ask. And it may very well be the same kind of questions that are asked by National Treasury. It doesn't guarantee that if this plan is approved, that National Treasury will approve or grant funding to the city. So again, we are not supporting this item simply because it hasn't served in Section 79 on that principle, but we are not against trading reforms because this should have followed due process where we as councillors could have given input into the document, because there are 3 annexures here and it looks more like a roadmap than a trading reform strategy. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Title. MMC Masuku.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Our intention here is really to make sure that the improvement action plan is about developing a comprehensive performance plan and supporting the narrative that outlines the reforms. And most importantly, we want to support the National Treasury's reforms and pick it up future planning with the city's broader utility reform agenda. Also importantly is that the governance and reform instruments that positions pick it up to meet National Treasury reform requirements will strengthen service delivery and the operational performance that Councillor Harris spoke about earlier on, including Councillor Myers also, although his caucus is not supporting the report actually speaks to the things that they say we should be doing. So we ask Council to approve this, and the approval will enable us to further implement and assess the reform program, and we'll be able to be held accountable. And the Section 79 still has the opportunity to do that accountability framework. Thank you, Speaker. We ask Council to support item 74.
Thank you so much. The recommendations are on page 74.2. Is the item agreed to? Our colleagues, the yeses have it. We are now, Councillor Christians.
Thank you, Speaker. It was that very big yes that you hear every time. Madam Speaker, in terms of Rule 84, we'd like our opposition to this item be noted. We are not against what is in there, but we are against the process that is followed because it makes it very basic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before we go to item 75, can we check if we are still correcting? But then I'm asking for us to remain seated so that we don't jump around when we are counting. I saw 2 other councillors walk out from here at the back. I'm not sure whether they are gone or they have come back. But let's count and see. Do you want them to lift their hands? Okay, we'll count door to door. We are still correcting, we are still good to go. We are 143. We are still very good to go. Okay, item 75, sorry.
Item 75 is the reviewed delegations of authority of City Power, Johannesburg Water, and Pick It Up in light of the metro trading reforms.
Action SA, Councillor T. Nkomo.
Greetings, Speaker. All protocol observed. Speaker, I rise to speak on item 75, which is the reviewed delegations of authority of City Power, Johannesburg Water, and Pick It Up. This item presents an important opportunity to strengthen governance across the city's municipal entities. The value of these revised delegations lies in their ability to remove uncertainty around decision-making and responsibility. Effective governance requires clarity. Where authority is unclear, accountability becomes difficult to enforce, and the risk of poor decisions increases. The proposed framework seeks to establish a more coherent system of oversight and control. This is particularly important in entities responsible for essential services such as electricity, water, and waste management, where governance weaknesses ultimately affect residents through service delivery failures. The reforms should also contribute to stronger financial management, more effective procurement oversight, and improved compliance with regulatory and audit requirements. These are necessary measures if the city is serious about reducing inefficiencies and protecting public resources. However, Speaker, the adoption of a framework is not the same as achieving good governance. The real measure of success will be whether these delegations are properly implemented and consistently applied. Officials must understand their responsibilities. Systems must support the new arrangements, and oversight structures must ensure compliance. Without effective implementation and consequence management, governance challenges will simply persist despite besides the introduction of new rules. For that reason, while supporting the approval of this item, we must emphasize that accountability is not created by a document alone. It is created through disciplined execution, effective oversight, and a commitment to ensuring that those entrusted with authority are held responsible for the decisions they make. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Councillor. Councillor Khatebe, EFF.
Greetings to the committed EFF battalions, fellow councillors, officials, guests, and the residents of the city of Johannesburg. Speaker, the EFF notes and supports item 75, which deals with the reviewed delegation of authority of City Power, Johannesburg Water, and Pick It Up. We understand that this review became necessary because the old delegation system was fragmented, outdated, and inconsistent. This created unclear escalation lines, also created weak accountability, operational delays, and audit risks. The revised framework seeks to align with National Treasury's metro trading reforms and the M4 minimum commitment model. Speaker, the key issue here is accountability. For too long, when things went wrong in municipal entities, it was difficult to know who approved what, who failed to act, and who must be held responsible. The revised framework through SPOMA seeks to ensure that accounting officers have both the authority and the responsibility for the revenue collection, cost recovery, debt management, and service delivery. This is important because City Power, Johannesburg Water, and Pick It Up are not ordinary entities. They provide electricity, water, sanitation, and waste services, which directly affect the daily lives of residents. Poor delegation does not remain on paper. It becomes power failures, water interruptions, billing problems, dirty streets, and poor service delivery. The EFF's state's cardinal pillar calls for building state and government capacity, strengthening public institutions, efficiently managing resources, abolishing tenders, dependency, and ensuring effective service delivery. This delegations framework must therefore not become another administrative document. It must help to expose irregular spending, prevent abuse of authority, and make it easier to trace decisions that fall outside approved limits. Speaker, we support the item, but we call for strict monitoring, regular reporting to council, and consequence management where delegated powers are abused. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Ndou from the ANC.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm standing on behalf of Councillor Ndou just because of ill health. Speaker, we are approving item number 75 just because of it strengthens governance and give a clear direct authority. Also, Speaker, let us know that these reforms start giving and bring life to the most important entities in the city of Joburg that are providing the live service delivery. So we're approving the report based on that. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Ndou. MMC Masuku.
Thank you very much, fellow councillors. We
Just
ask
hold on,
to
just hold on.
Oh, sorry.
You see, when you come late, it just happens. Thank you, Councillor Mare.
Thank you, Speaker. I think my name is on the amended list. Is that correct?
It came late. It's fine. Thank you, Councillor Mare.
Madam Speaker, fellow councillors, council officials, ladies and gentlemen, the delegations of authority determine the decision-making powers of city office bearers and officials, and therefore are crucial to ensuring proper management of the city and its activities, and that decisions are taken at the appropriate level of the broader city organizational hierarchy by officials who have the necessary skills, understanding, and experience. These delegations were largely established in or about 2011 and have not been comprehensively reviewed since then, despite it being a requirement in terms of Section 59(2)(f) of the Municipal Systems Act that they must be reviewed when a new council is elected until the current exercise referred to in this report. The current item proposes changes to the delegations which pertain to the internal operations of City Power, Johannesburg Water and Pick It Up, and to their relationship with the city in response to the National Treasury's Metro Trading reforms. These require, among other requirements, that there be a single point of management accountability which aligns operational authority, financial management responsibility, and accountability within these entities. As is noted in the report, in several respects, the existing delegations were problematic, which created risks relating to unclear escalation pathways, inconsistent authority thresholds, weak accountability lines, operational delays, and potential audit findings. It is therefore essential that the proposed amendments are carefully scrutinized to ensure that they will achieve the purpose of aligning them with the Metro Trading reform requirements. Failure to do so will have the consequence that the National Treasury will not allow the city to access the incentives of the Metro Trading Reform Program, and in particular, the access to additional infrastructural funding. It is here where this administration has erred in not affording an opportunity to the relevant Section 79 oversight committees to scrutinize this item and allow the councillors on those committees, the elected representatives of the residents of this city, to fully interrogate the proposed amendments and to ventilate their views as to the content of the proposed new delegations. Even more important, the committee members need to have comfort that these changes will meet the requirements of the Metro Trading reforms. Without such comfort, there is a risk that National Treasury will reject these amendments, which will subject the city to delays in accessing the critical funding needed to address its ailing infrastructure. The DA is therefore not in a position to support this item. It would be tantamount to signing a check while blindfolded. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mare. MMC Masuku.
Thank you, ma'am. This reform is very critical, Speaker. to improving governance maturity, strengthening accountability, enhancing operational responsiveness, and supporting financial sustainability and reducing governance and audit risks. So this is not necessarily about just giving anybody a blank check, but this revised delegations of authority framework actually represents a significant governance reform that strengthens accountability and improves the operational efficiencies and it supports the implementation of the national trading reforms for across Pick It Up, Johannesburg Water, and City Power. And key to this reform, Speaker, is actually the harmonization of the authority of the structures and ensuring that the point that the councillors are making about the single point of management accountability, otherwise known as the SPOMA principle. And this ensures that operational authority, financial responsibility, and accountability are vested within the trading entities while preserving board oversight and shareholder governance responsibility, so that at any given time, the shareholder has that governance responsibility to the entities. And we ask Council to support this very progressive review of the delegations of authority for the City of Johannesburg in line with the national trading reforms. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you so much, MMC. Colleagues, the recommendations are on page 75.11. Is the item agreed to? That one, the yeses have it. That one, the yeses have it. Councillor Christians.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, in terms of Rule 84, please record the opposition of the Democratic Alliance, and we reserve our rights on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, I'm going to afford us a 5-minute body break, and then we come back to deal with all the other items. We can even go home later, it's fine. Thank you. Can we please have a 5-minute break? And then 5 minutes. It's 17:41, we come back at 17:46. Chief Chairs. Councillor Lois, there's a whoppery there. Huh?
Never mind.
I see the chief whip of council is back, so I take it that the whips have had a meeting. Chief Whip, do you want to engage us, or do we carry on with our items?
Speaker, thank you very much. I greet you. I greet the Deputy Executive Mayor and all MMCs in the who are in absentia in the MMC, the COC, all we party. Speaker, we have decided that from item 45 to 60, we will just note. And the we party, they are saying, can we please do other performance reports tomorrow? And then but before that, we must deal with all elevated reports, items.
Okay. So
45 up to 60 must just read together to note them. But those other performance reports which are not elevated, then we deal with them tomorrow. But which are elevated, we deal with them now.
okay, we get you, Chief Whip. We let us summarize what you've told us.
Okay.
We are carrying on where we left on item 75. We carry on with them. The stuff that the Deputy Mayor elevated this morning, we carry on with them. And then we go to item 45 to item 60, which are all
Oversight report.
oversight reports. And those oversight reports, we will take them all together. And you are saying all the quarterlies, we will do them tomorrow. I see the hand of the Chair of Chairs. Are you done, Chief Whip?
Yes, I'm done.
Thank you. I see the hand of Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker of Council. With your indulgence, can I ask that we also, I just saw now that I made an oversight. Can I ask that we elevate item 89 just after the executive items that have been elevated? Because the one that I raised in the morning, it has already been dealt with. So if we then finish off all the executive elevation items, can I kindly and with all kindness ask that we elevate item 89? Thank you.
Okay, Chair of Chairs, item 89 is the year planner. Yeah, okay, we can do that. So we're going through the items that has been elevated by the executive. We finish that. We go to the year planner, and then we do the oversight committees. Let's see how far that brings us. Thank you so much. Can we move to the next item? STC?
We now proceed with item 82, and that is an addendum to COJ Debt Relief Program Phase 4 to assist qualifying customers with relief from historical debt.
Thank you so much, councillors. We start off with Councillor Nkonza from the ACDP.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Once again, I will just quote Romans 13, verse 8, just the first line, which says, "Let not debt remain outstanding." Madam Speaker, the ACDP, it's right, it's just,
Councillor Nkonza.
no, it's fine, yeah. The ACDP caucus supports and approves the proposed addendum while noting the inherent risk associated with the program, including potential revenue losses and the possibility of creating expectations for future debt write-offs. Nevertheless, we believe that if properly implemented and monitored, this intervention can provide meaningful relief to deserving customers while supporting the broader objectives, improving the city's financial sustainability, as well as cultivating a stronger culture of payment. However, Madam Speaker, there is one concern that as the ACDP, one issue, let me put it that way, one issue that remains insufficiently addressed in this proposed loyalty reward scheme. While the report indicates that the scheme seeks to promote continued payment, compliance, and foster a culture of payment among beneficiaries, the mechanism for achieving this objective remains unclear. Council will benefit from a detailed explanation of how the scheme will operate, how compliance will be measured, what incentives will be offered, and how success will be evaluated over time. Debt relief programs should not merely write off debt. They should also contribute to changing payment behavior and strengthening the city's revenue base. Without a clear implementation framework, there is a risk that the intended behavioral outcomes may not materialize. Going to the clauses that we welcome as the ACDP, the inclusion of the increased threshold debt of up to 2.5 million, which broadens access to the program and extends relief to a larger pool of qualifying customers. The second one is that the provision that no down payment will be required upon signing the acknowledgement of debt. This will assist financially distressed applicants who may otherwise be unable to participate in this program. With regard to clause 3.3, we propose that the wording be strengthened to eliminate any potential ambiguity or varying interpretations.
The time is up, Councillor. Apologies.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Councillor Boer.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. Again, I'm rising on item 82, the debt relief program. We are more than halfway through this program. I think it ends at the end of October or the end of November of this year. So far, 11,000 applications have been received, of which 8,300 have already been approved. And I want to recommend the officials and the CFO and his team for really addressing those applications and work with them. The proposed addendums, there are 6 of them, and they are really there to make it easier for our residents to qualify and to sign the acknowledgements of debt without having to put down a 20 or a 50% down payment, and that was a real big hurdle for our residents to come forward and say, all right, I'm still having a debt of 500,000 after the 50% write-off, but I don't have a down payment amount. But so the proposed addendums are really there to make it easier for our residents. But as the previous speaker has said as well, we need to monitor this, and it must not be a blanket write-off. The residents must also know that they have to adhere to the AODs and also fulfill their obligations towards the city. All in all, it is a beautiful program, but it's maybe a little bit disappointing that only 11,400 applications have been received in 6 months' time, and I think we must really communicate with our residents that they must apply for this debt write-off. Thank you, Madam Speaker. We support the item.
Thank you, Councillor Boer. Councillor Conny, Action SA.
Ngibonge Speaker. Angeke ngiphinde lokho okushiwe amakhansela ngoba ngempela baqinisile ngokuthi siyajabula ukuthi le ndaba ye down payment deposit le ayisadingeki manje. Speaker, today, as Action SA, we support this item because it is about struggling residents, it is about giving struggling residents a second chance. Across Johannesburg, thousands of residents are drowning in municipal debt. Pensioners who survive on grants, families who lost jobs, small businesses trying to keep their doors open, churches, non-profit organizations, and community institutions that provide essential services to our people. Many of these residents want to pay for services. They are not refusing to pay. The problem is that years of accumulated debt, interest, and penalties have made it impossible for them to catch up. When someone owes tens of thousands of rands, they often lose hope. They stop engaging with the city altogether because they believe they will never get out of debt. Speaker, this program gives those residents hope again. It says to our residents, if they are willing to come forward, work with the city and start paying your current account, we will help you deal with the burden of historical debt. That is the right thing to do. Action SA believes in accountability, but we also believe in fairness. We cannot build a city where pensioners spend their final years worrying about debt they can never repay. We cannot build a city where struggling families are permanently trapped by historical debt. And we cannot build a city where small businesses are forced to close because of old debt that has become impossible to settle. Speaker, what we like about this program is that it is not a free handout. Residents are not simply being told that their debt disappears. Instead, the city is creating a partnership with residents. The city provides relief. The residents commit to paying their current accounts and honoring payment arrangements. That creates a culture of payment while recognizing the economic reality facing many Johannesburg residents today. Speaker, this program also makes financial sense. Some people ask, why write off debt? The answer is simple. Debt that can never realistically be collected is not helping the city. It sits on the books year after year while residents remain disconnected from the system. By helping residents settle their accounts and return to regular payment, the system can improve their future revenue collection and strengthen its finances. In other words, this program is not just good for residents, it is good for the city as well. Speaker, as Action SA, we also want the city to continue improving its billing system, meter reading accuracy, and customer service. Many residents have found themselves in debt because of billing disputes, estimated readings, and administrative errors. Debt relief must therefore go hand in hand with fixing the underlying problems that create these debts in the first place. If residents are expected to pay, the city must also ensure that bills are accurate and that customer queries are resolved quickly and fairly. Speaker, at its heart, this program is about restoring trust between city and the residents. Trust has been broken over many years. Residents have often felt ignored, frustrated, and overwhelmed. This program gives an opportunity to rebuild that trust by showing residents that the city is prepared to work with them rather than against them. Action SA supports a Johannesburg that is compassionate but responsible, a Johannesburg that helps those who genuinely need assistance, a Johannesburg that encourages payment rather than punishes poverty, and a Johannesburg that understands that financial stability and social justice must go hand in hand. For these reasons, Action SA supports item 82 and calls on Council to approve the proposed amendment to the debt relief program. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Conny. EFF, Councillor S. Zita.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Greetings to the EFF leadership and the EFF councillors. Rise on item 82. Speaker, the EFF, before I proceed, rather, it is very important to remind this council and the resident of the city of Johannesburg that the principle of debt relief did not emerge from nowhere. The EFF has championed the intervention aimed at assisting working class residents, pensioners, indigent households, small businesses, churches, NPOs, and vulnerable members of the society who continue to suffer under the difficulties of economic conditions, We therefore welcome this progressive intervention and acknowledge that it reflects proposal that the EFF has long advanced in this council, that the government must place the people before the profit and provide relief to struggling residents. The report shows that more than 11,000 applications has been processed, and over 8,000 residents and institutions have already qualified for assistance. It further proposed debt write-offs that could amount to 11.7 billion, while potentially improving revenue collection by 6 billion over the next 3 years. Speaker, while we support the objective of this program, we must also be honest about the reason why many residents find themselves trapped in debt. A significant portion of municipal debt has accumulated because of inaccurate billing, estimated meter readings, delayed account corrections, and administrative failures within the city itself. Many residents have spent years disputing incorrect accounts while their debt continues to grow. The EFF therefore caution against creating the impression that all debt is a result of deliberate non-payment. In many cases, the city has contributed to the problem through poor governance and insufficient system. We further note that the report identified the risk of creating a culture of non-payment. This concern is legitimate. It's legitimate. English speaker. Debt relief must not become a recurring cycle where residents wait for the next write-off program. The city must strengthen billing system, install accurate prepaid and smart meters, resolve dispute speedily, and enforce for credit control measures. The EFF also believes that the debt relief alone is not enough. The root cause of the problem is depending poverty, unemployment, and economic hardship experienced by our people. Families are struggling to choose between food, transport, school fees, and municipal account. Until the economy works for the majority, municipal debt will continue to grow. The EFF supports this report because it provides immediate relief to residents who genuinely need assistance. However, we call for a strict oversight, transparency, and fairness in implementation to ensure that the program benefits deserving residents and not politically connected individuals or businesses. Finally, Speaker, we wish to acknowledge that and thank the economic freedom fighters for constantly advancing progressive policies that place the interests of the poor and working class at the center of the governance. This progress demonstrates that when government listens to the people, practical solution can be found. For those reasons, the EFF support and approve for this addendum while calling for approved billing system, stronger accountability, and long strategy to address the underlying causes of municipal debt.
Thank you, Councillor Zita. Please switch off your mic. Thank you. Councillor Modupi, ANC. Is he not here? Okay. Councillor Santana, DA.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as councillors, it's our duty to scrutinise the proposed amendments to the city's debt relief program and ensure that the interests of all residents and long-term financial health of Johannesburg is protected. We recognise the urgent need to assist financially distressed residents, businesses, and community organisations. The programme's broad coverage and the processing of over 11,000 applications demonstrates both the scale of the challenge and the city's willingness to act. However, we must raise several concerns. The projected 11.7 billion in debt write-off is significant, yet the report lacks a detailed feasibility study and does not provide the calculations or assumptions behind this figure or the anticipated 6 billion in improvement collections. There is no breakdown of the write-off between property rates, service charges, interest, and fees, making it difficult to assess the true impact on the municipality's revenue. The program may reduce municipal revenue in the short term, potentially affecting service delivery by allowing previously beneficiaries to reapply without evidence of improved payment behaviour. We risk encouraging a culture of non-payment and repeated reliance on relief. The risks of inaccurate customer metering or income information could lead to incorrect approvals and undermine the program's integrity. Customers who do not qualify may perceive the program as unfair, especially if eligibility criteria are not communicated transparently or enforced consistently. Madam Speaker, also what we require is the understanding or the proposed loyalty reward scheme with clear published rules to the incentive and to incentivize the regular payment. I think that's the part that's lacking around this whole debt relief program, is the pronouncement of the loyalty reward scheme, but we have no policy in how that's going to play out. So we obviously request that that actually comes sooner than later. Madam Speaker, we support the principle of debt relief for those in genuine need, but it must be balanced with accountability, transparency, and the city's long-term financial stability. We urge Council to adopt these amendments only with the necessary safeguards, oversight in place, ensuring relief today does not become a burden for tomorrow. Madam Speaker, the Democratic Alliance supports the debt relief, as I am the co-author with this policy to begin with, together with Jolly D from the ANC, and I thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Santana. Yes. MMC Masuku.
Thank you so much. Indeed, our late MMC for Finance, Councillor Jolly D Matongo, was very passionate about this program. I recall at one point, he was pushing that it must be passed in council and then the amendments can follow after, because together with other councillors, including Councillor Santana, the passion was really about making sure that customers who continue to experience financial hardship are provided an opportunity to bring those qualifying customers back into a compliant payment arrangement while supporting our revenue efforts. And I do agree, thank you to all the councillors, that this proposed amendments seek to strengthen the effectiveness and accessibility of the debt relief program while balancing social support objectives with the city's financial sustainability goals. And this approval will therefore make that these changes will improve participation and debt recovery and long-term payment compliance. The point about the policy is noted. I think CFO is here, the Group CFO heard that, and we have a responsibility to expedite through Lufuno and the team so that we get that through to the committees and Section 79 and all the governance structures, and then it comes to council for approval. We thank you, fellow councillors, for the support, and this is a progressive way where we can work together to make sure we build a better Johannesburg. Thank you, Madam Speaker. We ask council to approve the reports.
Thank you so much, MMC. Councillors, the recommendation is on page 82.9. Is the item agreed to? Thank you.
We're now on item 83, and that is the service level standards framework for the City of Johannesburg.
Thank you, STC. ACDP, Councillor Nkonza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On the previous item, I wanted to make some proposals on clause 3.3 and 3.5, just for legal clarity, but if I'm allowed, I'll submit it after this speech because my time had expired. Anyway, on this item 83, in appreciating the principles that underpin sound performance management and service delivery, namely strategic congruency, public participation, validity, accountability, transparency, reliability, responsiveness, and continuous improvement. The ACDP believes that the adoption of this framework is a positive step forward, building a more efficient, responsive, and citizen-centered municipality. Madam Speaker, residents of the City of Johannesburg deserve certainty regarding the quality, timeless, and standards of services they can expect from the city. Too often, public frustration arises not only from service delivery failures, but also from the absence of clear expectations and measurable commitments. The service level standards framework seeks to address this challenge by establishing a common understanding between the city and its residents regarding the service obligations and performance expectation. The ACDP caucus therefore notes and supports the service level standards as contained in Annexure A. We are encouraged by the framework's intentions to strengthen accountability across departments and municipal entities while promoting consistency in service delivery throughout the city. We further trust that the implementation of these standards will foster a culture of excellence, professionalism, and responsiveness within the administration. More importantly, we hope that it will translate into improved service delivery outcomes, reduce turnaround times, enhance public confidence in the city, and increase customer satisfaction among the residents and business of the city of Joburg.
50 seconds.
Thank you very much. The true measure of this framework, however, will not be in its adoption, but in its implementation, monitoring, and regular review. The ACDP therefore encourages the administration to ensure that performance against these standards is transparently reported and that corrective action is taken whenever service levels fall below the agreed benchmarks. For these reasons, the ACDP caucus supports and approves the service level standards framework of the city of Joburg. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you so much, Councillor. Action SA, Councillor T. Nkomo.
Greeting, Speaker. It's been a long day. We note the report. Yeah, we noted.
Thank you, Councillor Nkomo. EFF, Councillor Khatebe.
Thank you, Speaker. Good service level standard framework sets timeframes like sewer blockage restored within 24 hours of single pit hole or on minor road repaired within 72 hours. When targets are specific, staff and residents know what service delivery looks like, and that's what makes Patubili principle work. Citizens should be told what level and quality of public service they will receive so that they are aware of what to expect. Frameworks only work if the municipality actually tracks performance, publishes results, and has redress when standards are not met. Without reporting and consequences, it becomes paper. Standards means little if there is no budget, staff, or equipment. Framework should include key mechanisms to progressively remove barriers Framework should include mechanisms to progressively remove barriers so access to services is increased. The question will be, was this service level standard shared by public comments or their needs? The city of Johannesburg is actually not meeting the 5-day illegal dumping and water outage standards. Johannesburg Water Quarter 3 2025 report shows only 41.227% water burst fixed within 24 hours versus the 90% target. Sewer blockage has only 66% cleared within 24 hours versus 95% target. Speaker, Zandspruit in Region C has blocked, drained, and illegal dumping that cost 50 million per year, with Johannesburg Water having to flush systems every 2 to 3 weeks. The residents of Orange Farm are living with water outages that starts every day from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. or even 12 a.m. The level of service in informal settlements is always neglected. The framework can only help demoralize the residents of the city of Johannesburg if it is implemented correctly and monitored. Speaker, the EFF notes this report and approves it with the concerns raised. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Khatebe. Councillor Mokoena from the ANC.
Thanks, Speaker. The service level standards framework is to improve the governance performance, is tools to intend to standardize and monitor improvements on municipality service delivery across the city and its own entities. It is meant to establish the service-defined measures, report review, and enforce with the broader aim of improving accountability, transparency, and resident trust, and service delivery performance. The framework is to introduce transformational mechanism and institutionalize excellence and accountability, transparency in public service delivery. And Speaker, let us note one thing, that based on these service level standards, we have signed, as a council, we have signed agreement with the communities based on IDP, SDP, IP, and city governance and administration. And also, Speaker, the most critical thing is the principle of Batupili in addressing the service, the service standard agreement and service delivery. So on that note, Speaker, we are noting and approving the report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Mokoena. Councillor Wax from the DA.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to talk on item 83 on the service level standards framework. We welcome any serious attempt to set measurable standards, Madam Speaker, for the services that our people rely on every day. The city's service level standards framework rightly recognizes that each SLS will specify the service description, turnaround time, quality metric, responsible party, and legislative reference. That captures what residents have been demanding for years: clarity about what the city promises and who will deliver it. But words on a page, Madam Speaker, are not the same as water in a tap, lights in a home, or a road you can drive on without risking your suspension. We must be blunt. This framework is positive in principle, but weak in execution. It builds dashboards and committees and then leaves residents waiting for enforceable service guarantees. It allows municipal entities to set their own standards with no clear binding consequences when those standards are missed. That is not reform, that is delegation without accountability. Our residents, Madam Speaker, do not need more reports. They need outcomes. They need firstly clear, non-negotiable turnaround times for the basics. When water will be restored and electricity restored, fixing burst pipes, clearing block drains, etc. Secondly, independent verification of performances, not self-certified dashboards. Thirdly, escalations and consequence mechanisms that are effective, because it's important that our residents see that we are dealing with the consequences of poor performance. Transparent costing and resourcing, so residents know whether a missed standard is a management failure or a funding gap. And if it's a funding gap, how will we fix that? So that they have the confidence that we are dealing with the issues correctly. Madam Speaker, we are particularly concerned about the over-centralization of oversight in the Mayor and Mayoral Committee without strengthening the Council's oversight role. Section 79 committees and oversight structures are described as reviewers. They must be made drivers of corrective action. If a municipal entity misses its targets 3 times in a row, the Council must be able to demand an immediate remedial plan with timelines, named accountable managers, and a public hearing within 30 days. Implementation risks are real. The framework itself admits our systems are fragmented and our ICT is inconsistent. Yet the document proposes a single integrated platform without a funded rollout plan, timelines, or pilots. We will not support a digital promise that becomes another expensive, under-delivered project. Any integrated system must be piloted, independently evaluated, and budgeted for in the medium term before it is mandated across entities. We also, Madam Speaker, sound a warning about the human cost New standards mean new responsibilities for frontline staff. Investing in training, adequate staffing, and protective measures for workers who fix our infrastructure should be priority. Performance targets without capacity are a recipe for failure and scapegoating. So, Madam Speaker, for the DA to provide its support, we really want to just make sure that we understand each other. So what do we require? A public, legally binding citizen service charter. Secondly, automatic escalation rules in the framework. 3, independent verification by the Auditor General or an accredited third party. An integrated dashboard with milestones and an independent evaluation before citywide rollout. A much stronger role for Section 79 committees and monthly public dashboards and ward-level scorecards so residents can see performance where they live, not buried in technical reports. Let me conclude, Madam Speaker. We will support any measure that moves beyond governance theory and delivers tangible improvements for residents. We will work constructively to tighten the framework to make standards enforceable and to ensure that the city's promises become measurable, verifiable, and most importantly, delivered. Our message to the administration is simple. If you want our support, show us the plan, show us the funding, show us the consequences, and show us the results. Our people deserve nothing less. We support the item with some serious reservations. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Councillor Wex. MMC Masuku.
Thank you very much to all councillors, and indeed this framework provides clear service delivery standards and accountability measures which will enable residents to better understand what service levels that they can expect in improving the city's ability to monitor and improve performance. It's intended to apply across the city group to ensure consistency in service delivery standards, performance measurements, and an accountability. The focus really, Madam Speaker, is about improving governance, performance management, and service delivery outcomes. And that's what we are all supporting. And we thank our fellow councillors, and we ask council to support. Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you, MMC. The recommendations are on page 83.3. Is the item agreed to? Thank you so much. STC.
Item 85 is updated stakeholder compacts of City Power, Johannesburg Water, and Pick It Up in light of the Metro Trading reforms and single point of management accountability alignment.
Thank you so much. Councillor Harris. Just hold on, Councillor Harris. Councillor Myers.
Thank you, Speaker. I think I am after Councillor Margaret. Can I please give my minutes to him for this item?
I don't see Councillor Margaret. Is Councillor Margaret on? Okay. Councillor Margaret. Okay, Councillor Harris, you can skip.
Dank u, mevrouw Speaker. I rise to speak to item 85, the updated shareholder compacts. I am so delighted to see this report, Madam Speaker, because there's one item in it, and that speaks to accountability that is just absolutely absent. You know, we watched, and I don't know about everybody else, but I watched on television as our mayor and deputy mayor and city manager cringed and squirmed in Parliament as they were held accountable and questioned about the performance of the city of Johannesburg. Whereas the CEOs and boards are noticeably absent whenever it comes to being held accountable. Even us as councillors, we are held accountable when the lights go off, when the water flows in the streets, and when drains are blocked. And the boards and the CEOs are absolutely absent. So I'm delighted that this item is, there's a note about it in this report. And I trust that this accountability will be extended to all the boards because all of those CEOs and boards are noticeably absent when people are supposed to be held accountable. And I trust that as we go into a new era after the 4th of November, that accountability will be spread evenly, and that the quality of the boards that are appointed will go beyond singers and dancers and psychiatrists and people who are not fit for purpose. So the ACDP notes this report with thanks. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Action SA, Councillor Mabunda.
Greetings, Speaker, fellow councillors, guests in the gallery, and residents of Joburg. I rise to speak on item 85. Action SA welcomes the review of the shareholders' compacts for city power, Johannesburg Water, and Pick It Up. We acknowledge the effort made to strengthen governance, improve accountability, and align our municipal entities with the National Treasury's Metro Trading Service Reform program. Swi na nkarhi wo leha swinene vaaki va doroba ra Joni va xaniseka hi ku tsandzeka ka mavandla ya GLU. Va tiyiserile swiringene ku pfumaleka ka vukorhokeri byo tanihi mati, nkavanyeto wa gezi, ku tsandzeka ku tlilina thyaka, ku hunguteka ka vukorhokeri ni mafambiselo yo biha ya mfumo, na ku pfumala vutihlamuleri eka vurhangeri bya doroba. Ku sunguriwa ka maendlelo yantshwa ya vutihlamuleri bya ndhawu yin'we ya vufambisi i goza lerinene. Action SA yi seketela na ku pfumelelana na nawu wa leswaku vutihlamuleri bya mphakelo wa vukorhokeri ku hlengeletiwa mali leyi nga nghenaki matirhelo na vufambisi bya swa timali swi fanele ku fambisiwa kahle endzeni ka ti-department hinkwato. Vaaki va fanele ku swi tiva leswaku i mani loyi a nga na vutihlamuleri loko vukorhokeri byi tsandzeka ku fikelela vaaki va doroba. Hi ya emahlweni hi amukela na ku twisisa ka swikombiso swa nkoka swa matirhelo leswi vuriweke eka this report scorecard, swa nkombiso wa matirhelo lama hlanganisiweke na plan ya vuhluvukisi, swilavekiso swo tiya swa ku va na erivaleni ka swa timali, na ku boheka ka varhangeri va board ku tumbuluxa na ku hlamusela tindlela ta ku cinca ka mafambiselo ya ti-department. Hambi swi ri tano, Speaker, Action SA a yi tshembi leswaku swivumbeko swa vulawuri ntsena swi tiyisisa mimbuyelo, kambe hi ri vandla ra Action SA we adopt and approve na swivilelo leswi ndzi swi hlayeke. Inkomu.
Inkomu. Councillor Khatebe, EFF. Councillor Khatebe, EFF. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Speaker. The EFF notes the purpose of this compact, which is to regulate the relationship between the City of Johannesburg and the three entities, boards. And it aims to strengthen boards' accountability, provide role clarity, promote transparency, good governance, and alignment with applicable laws. The compact sets the framework, but effectiveness hinges on whether quarterly reports are honest, whether consequence management actually happens, and if the remedial action is enforced.
Before you go further, Councillor Mabunda, switch off your mic, please.
Can I continue to speak?
Thank you, Councillor.
Okay. We can see the obligation created, but can't guarantee the political will. Speaker, we need to have key performance indicators that are realistic and speak to the needs of our people. As the city, we need to use our oversight powers and make sure the boards follow through consequence management. The compact mentions breach and interventions in the table of contents, but the actual steps, timelines, and escalation path are not mentioned. Is it 30 days, 60 days to fix, or can even the city dissolve the boards? The compact of MFMA, Systems Act, Companies Act, all have prescribed stages before you can intervene. Our laws are outdated or either conflicting, as the municipality entities landscape has changed. For example, Speaker, the MFMA is 2003, and the Systems Act is 2000. The compact chose broad powers over precise ones, and that protects the city legally, but makes enforcement slower and more contestable. We need to put specific interventions, triggers, and timelines directly in the compact. For example, Speaker, if 2 quarterly reports miss KPI X by 20%, the city may appoint interim CEO within 14 days. Close suggestion. Then we don't wait for MFMA processes. That way we can increase performance management. We can increase accountability, transparency, and good governance and service delivery. Speaker, the EFF knows and approves this report with the concerns that it has raised. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Khatebe. Councillor Tabane from the ANC. Councillor Tabane.
Thanks, Speaker. As ANC, we are noting the report. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor from the DA, Councillor Murray.
Thank you, Speaker. Madam Speaker, fellow councillors, council officials, ladies and gentlemen. It is gratifying to see that the city has responded to the National Treasury's metro trading reforms. In particular, it has proposed updated shareholder compacts which purport to ensure that the boards remain accountable for providing governance direction and oversight over management, also ensure that the city's shareholder oversight is exercised through structured reportings, performance monitoring, intervention mechanisms, and enforceable undertakings. However, these compacts have not been referred to the relevant councillor oversight committees so that they can be fully interrogated and scrutinized. Accordingly, comfort has not been provided to councillors that the shareholder compacts will ensure that proper oversight will be provided over the entities by the directors and that the requirements of National Treasury's metro trading reforms will be met. Moreover, nothing is said in regard to the process of selection of board members and particularly of non-executive directors. This is where the problem lies. Without directors of integrity, with the appropriate skills and expertise in place, these changes will have no impact on the effectiveness of these boards. It is notorious that persons have been appointed to these boards with no relevant skills and expertise. This has attracted adverse comment both from the Auditor General and in the media. This is despite the fact that sections 93E to 93G of the Municipal Systems Act prescribe various requirements for directors, and the city has a specific policy in place dealing with the appointment of directors to municipal entities. This policy provides that boards must collectively cover financial and audit, legal and governance, engineering and technical, human resources and risk management expertise and experience. It is only the DA which will ensure that the directors have relevant skills, expertise and experience, and that the persons who oversee our trading entities are persons of integrity. The DA does not support this item. I thank you.
MMC Masuku.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this review was undertaken as part of a broader reform process aimed at clarifying the relationship between the shareholder, boards, and executive management. Under the SPOMA framework, accountability for operational performance, revenue management, and service delivery is located within the entity, while the city exercises structured shareholder oversight without assuming operational responsibilities. The revised compacts and the entire framework that we're looking at actually now gives a structured oversight, explicit board and CEO accountability, and additional refinements actually strengthen the financial transparency, treasury disclosures, revenue reporting, system access, shareholder intervention mechanism, and governance arrangements. The other critical point about this report is that it encompasses the revised compacts. They actually support national treasuries' commitments to strengthening governance alignment, performance-based accountability, and financial sustainability. Importantly, the revised compacts have already been approved by the respective boards of City Power, Joburg Water, and Pick It Up, and are now submitted to Council for approval. And this confirms that there is no, there's nothing hidden. We're actually bringing this so that it's a reform that is supported by Council to strengthen accountability, and we ask Council to support this report. Thanks, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much, Deputy Executive Mayor. Recommendations are on page 85.8 to 85.9. Is the item agreed to? Thank you so much. The yeses have it. Councillor Christians.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I stand in terms of Rule 86. No, sorry, 84. Just to record our opposition. Thank you.
Point of order, your thing is flawed. Thank you. STC.
Item 89 is a year planner and schedule of meetings of the City of Johannesburg Council and Section 79 committees for July 2026 to June 2027.
Councillor C. Avant Smith.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, this is very interesting, and looking at the year plan, thank you to the committees that put it together, because they took into account a lot of the queries that we had, especially around when we're sitting and to look at the religious holidays, etc. So thank you very much, and we accept this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor M. van Wyk, Action SA.
Speaker, not a lot. Good evening, colleagues. We just have a concern that we used to have 2 times where there's questions to the mayor, and we see that one is taken away. We just want to know the rationale behind it. We know we don't debate the year planner, but that was just a concern that was raised by caucus. Thank you.
Chair of Chairs, it's your duty.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Like through you, Speaker, Councillor Avant Smith has indicated that it has been a tremendous work in trying to make sure that you juggle around the times and all that. It wasn't going to be an easy thing to try and get it all 100%. But I stand to ask Council to note and approve this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Colleagues, recommendations on page 89.2. Is the item agreed to? Thank you so much. STC?
Constance, we now moving to those items that we've grouped from item 45 to 60. Starting off with item 45, and that is an oversight report of the Development Planning Section 79 Committee on the oversight visit to illegal developments in Bezuidenhout and Bellevue East. Item 46 is an oversight report of Development Planning Section 79 Committee on oversight visits to the Development Planning Newtown offices. Item 47 is a joint oversight report of the Development Planning and Economic Development Section 79 committees on an oversight visit to the Metro Center building. Item 48 is an oversight visit report of Section 79 Economic Development to Walter Sisulu Hotel Square in Kliptown, Region D, on the 16th of April, 2026. Item 49 is an oversight visit report of the Section 79 Economic Development to Lenasia Extension, Region G, Region D, on the 12th of May, 2026. Item 50 is an oversight visit report of the Section 79 Finance Committee to Tuso House Revenue Center on the 19th of March, 2026, and Midrand Customer Service Center on the 24th of March, 2026. Item 51 is an oversight visit report of the Section 79 Finance Committee to Ria Vaya bus stations on the 17th of April 2026 and 23rd of April 2026. Item 52 is an oversight visit of the Committee of Gender, Youth and People with Disabilities to Region D, Protea South Clinic on the 17th of April 2026. Item 53 is an oversight visit to Elias Muzwaledi Clinic in Meadowlands, Soweto by the Committee of Gender, Youth and People with Disabilities on the 17th of April 2026. Item 54 is an oversight visit to Singobile Clinic, Meadowlands, Soweto by the Committee on Gender, Youth and People with Disabilities on the 17th of April 2026. Item 55 is an unannounced oversight visit report of the HSD Section 79 Committee to a homeless shelter at Goodsie Street in Hillbrow on the 25th of March 2026. Item 56 is an oversight visit report of the HSD Section 79 Committee to River Park Clinic in Region E on the 25th of March 2026. Item 57 is an oversight visit report of the HSD Section 79 Committee to Zensparade Clinic in Region C on the 25th of March 2026. And item 58 is an oversight visit report of the HSD Section 79 Committee to Aquaponic System Organic Farm in Soweto on the 26th of March 2026. Item 59 is an oversight visit report of the HSD Section 79 Committee to Social Development Food Distribution Center at Johannesburg Market on the 26th March 2026. And lastly, item 60, and that's the oversight visit report of the HSD Section 79 Committee to Nokupila Clinic in Region C on the 26th of March 2026.
Colleagues, all these items do not have speakers, so we start off with the recommendations that are on page 45.6 to 45.7. Is the item agreed to? The next one, item 46, recommendations on page 46.7 to 46.8. Item agreed to. 47.10 to 47.11, item agreed to. 48.5 is the item agreed to. 49.4 is the item agreed to. 50.7 is the item agreed to. 51.7 is the item agreed to. 52.7 to 52.8, item agreed to. 53.4 is the item agreed to. 54.4 is the item agreed to. 55.6 is the item agreed to. 56.4 is the item agreed to. 57.5 is the item agreed to. 58.3 is the item agreed to. 59.4 is the item agreed to. 60.5 is the item agreed to. Thank you so much, colleagues. Next item. Item 102. Announcements.
Constance, we are now on.
This item.
We're now on announcements and closure.
Colleagues, we will commence tomorrow again at 10 o'clock sharp. We have 42 items to consider tomorrow. So please, let's be here early and then we can go early. Thank you all for your attendance and the meeting. We will ensure that we deal with IT to ensure we don't have all the hiccups we've had today. I thank you all. MMC, Deputy Executive Mayor. Colleagues, can we wait? There was a hand.
Speaker, we know it's an official council meeting, but we wanted to check if we can be permitted to wear our Bafana t-shirts for National Pride tomorrow.
I think Bafana is fine as long as it doesn't have the face of any political leader. Bafana, it's fine. Thank you so much.